Yeah, I'll do it after. Okay. What's going on, everybody? Welcome. Welcome to the Tokyo Crypto Show. Boy, oh boy. Has it been a turbulent past 24 hours?
That's been a good one.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
But yeah, we'll probably get started slowly here today since we just put this thing online and still getting the call-in available.
Yep. So setting up the call-ups right now, but yeah, what a wild ride. Yeah, this all happened pretty quickly.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because it'll be interesting to see, how many of these guys that are watching us are tuned into these events. Because I think, the people that I've spoken with, it's caught some of them by surprise. The ones who are tuned into Bitcoin, it's caught them by big surprise. I think Greg mentioned, he's gone for 2 days out sick, and then Bitcoin goes up 1K, which, kind of sucks. Hope you're feeling better, Greg. But yeah, people who tuned in, they noticed that very quickly. 20% increase like that. But
Welcome to Blog
I think,
Talk Radio.
For example, I mentioned to my wife, I was like, hey, it went up 1K, and she was like, oh, it's about time. So it's like, I think the people who are more on the normie level, or the people who, are not paying attention to it or have already written it off because of the bear market,
Right.
Are kind of just like, and we'll probably get into that subject a little bit more today. So Winston Wolf says, I've got the wild idea to take the money on my credit card, sink it into Bitcoin, and pay my debt later since no other money is available. Bad idea.
You're
do that.
You're acting like a normie, okay? Dude, this is why. Look. All right.
No, that's probably the worst idea you could do right there, Winston. I highly do not recommend that.
That is normie brain 101, okay? We've been telling you fuckers literally for 2 months from today. 2 months, buy Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin.
I did my homework.
Yeah.
And checked. The first day of our show was February 13th.
Yeah.
A very lucky day, I guess.
Yeah.
But the price there was about $3,500. It was just the first show. We're just kind of getting used to it. But then by the time we got into March, the price was probably around $3,700 most of that time, just chopping sideways.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we've been saying this for a while, and there's been plenty of good prices. I think on my channel and also for my email list, I mentioned to everybody anything between $2,000 to $4,500 is like a steal, a discount, a very good price. And so we're seeing the result of that now. Now that we're basically at, $5,000.
Yeah, and
it's just the beginning.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild. There's a lot of speculation.
Huge speculation.
I think that. Well, where do we start? Where do we start with all this?
Go with whatever you're just thinking now, and then we'll get into the charts and more the meat of it. But I think we're just people are just coming in, so it's good to have just kind of a casual chat to begin.
I think. Clearly this move was not organic. This was not organic. There's
so the way, because this I think is a common sentiment when we were in the bull market, right?
Right.
Which was some of these moves are insane. The big difference between this move, and we'll show this once we get into the chart, but the big difference between this move and past moves was that this happened within 2 hours, $1,000 price increase.
Yeah.
And so of course, that's something that was planned. So you can label it as inorganic or manipulation. But, of course, to be able to do it, you have to be able to do it with real money.
Right. What I mean is, it's not natural. It didn't naturally occur in the market.
Exactly.
This was clearly some whale. And whale is not a feminist in this situation. A whale in this situation is a person who has a lot of money in trading, and that they can put so much money into an asset to cause a spike in the price.
Yeah. And in this case, it was probably similar, about $100 million, which is about, like a small basketball stadium for a college team or something like that,
Yep. Yep.
So somebody's just like, either a group of people or somebody in particular is just like, drop that institutional money right in here and see what happens.
Yep.
But a lot of people have been speculating that the institutional investors from Wall Street have been buying Bitcoin over the counter, which means, like on local Bitcoins or, just not on an exchange. Because when you do it on an exchange, it affects the price like this.
Right.
And this was done over 3 or 4 different exchanges that they can track. But when people do it off of the exchange, it doesn't affect the price immediately.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people were speculating that Wall Street people were getting in with larger amounts of money, but behind, the scenes, basically not on the exchange. So this might have just been somebody who's just like, I just want to make a splash.
Yeah.
But I think, everybody who, all the professional traders that I've been, I always stay in tune with everybody in the market, people I agree with, people I disagree with. And both sides of the coin, they were saying they expected a big move, but not until like a week or 2 later.
Right.
And so I think this person is aware of that. I was like, it's probably the best time to jump in and make a splash. And they probably were just like, okay, I'm going to beat everybody else to it and put down.
Yeah, very, very interesting. All I know is that this move was not organic. This was certainly like, when you see these, why don't we pull up the chart? Let's see what we have here.
So let's see. Let's share that screen, right? Which one is it?
Example Twitter. No. Yep.
Alrighty. Looks like we're good. All right. So on my show every day, on the Cultivate Crypto show, I've been showing this chart. And today I'm going to not hold back. I'm going to put a bunch of different lines on there. Usually I just put the, like for example, when you do a math, like when you solve a math problem in your math class, right, back in high school or whatever, you always wrote longhand. You're supposed to write like how you got from A to Z with everything in between.
Right.
And usually what I do on my charts is I show A and I show Z, but I usually don't show my work in between because it's not that important and it usually overwhelms people.
Right.
It's a lot of information, especially for new people. But here's kind of a little bit more of a raw chart so that you can see why this is happening. But I won't explain everything that's on this chart. So
this is called a candlestick chart.
Yeah, so all charts have candles, which each candle here represents 1 day, in this case, because we have it on the daily here, of price action. So
this is the price moving up or down. And green signifies the price is going up. Red signifies the price is going down.
Exactly. And a lot of the guys that I've talked to who have watched this show understand a lot of these concepts from the stock market, or at least have heard about them. But if you've never been exposed to either stocks or crypto, then that might be new for you. But basically I do 2 things. I use Elliott wave, which is what I'm showing this big blue wave here for. And then I do cycles, Bitcoin cycles, which are every 60 days.
And this is how you track the price or predict where you think the price is going to go.
Both. Right. So prediction is kind of like the weatherman, giving a best educated guess of what can happen. But at least looking at the past with these types of things, you can start looking, in the next 60, maybe 90 days out. Beyond that, it's a little bit harder. So if I jump over actually to the long-term chart, this will make what we're looking at a little bit more clear. So this one is super simple, which is on the monthly scale. So each of these candles equals 1 month. And I think I've shown this one in the past. And we start here with that first Elliott wave. And basically, Elliott waves are 5-wave impulses up. That's all you need to know. So here we have the 5 waves. And the last Bitcoin rally was the 3rd wave, which is usually one of the most impulsive or larger rallies during the 5-wave cycle. So that's why, in 2016-17, the price shot up pretty crazy because wave 3 is often one of the strongest. And then we do a correction sideways. And here we could say December is finished, or, we might go, a tad lower sometime in the summer. But basically, we're pretty much done or very, very close to the end of this bear market. So that's a positive. Then, if you look out into the far future, just 2022, 2023, I don't have the timing lined up exactly, but wave 5 is, of course, there are sub-waves that are within that. And so this is the price action I expect to see over the next few years. The timing may be stretched out, maybe actually sooner. Depends on what we get in the short term. So as you can see, I'm pretty bullish. In this case, I'm putting it at about 250,000 per Bitcoin.
So one Bitcoin will be $250,000 based on your prediction.
Based on my prediction, but also I do accumulate some of this knowledge from all over the internet. So I think the most bearish people say Bitcoin's either going to go to zero or $50,000 within that time period. And so if you want to be really, kind of conservative, then, maybe pull this down to, here, like $50,000, is possible. That's probably on the conservative end. Max Kaiser, who is a guy, he's a little bit of more of a fringe analyst on a lot of different networks. He has his own show called the Kaiser Report. Since 2013 or 2011, sometime in there, he's been calling for $100,000 Bitcoin around this time. So he's been calling this years and years out. So I think that's very, reasonable.
Let's go back to the other chart. Let's show them
So let's show now.
So this long, highlight that green one, the long one. That is the price movement in one 24-hour cycle.
Yeah. So let's go down to let's just look at the 1 hour. So this is going to be distorted, so I have to kind of elongate it here. But if you see this on the 1 hour, this whole candle,
April 2nd, 12 p.m.
12 p.m. Japan time.
Japanese time.
Right. Went from $4,167 all the way up here to $5,080, $5,080. And what I had been calling for, or what a lot of people had been calling for, was this 4,200 area right around here where it started. That was kind of the most resistance we had had. So that was the hardest price to break, because again, if you look on the daily, and this is going to get distorted again because we're switching between them, but you can see if you put a line like right here, you can see where that A is over here, around 4,200, and also here where when it was going down, there's a lot of action there. And there was also some action here in the middle of February. So that had been hit, a couple of times, but not really broken through. So a lot of people were saying if it breaks through, it's very bullish.
Breaks through the price limit, which was $4,100. $4,200.
Yep.
So if you go back to marker A here, it almost passed 4,200 there on December 24th, and it kind of crashed down, and then...
Yep. And then it tried again in February.
In February, it got up to 4,200 again, and it kind of crashed down, and now here we are.
And then, so what people were expecting was it to test 42 and then potentially kind of roll over and then come back up and test it again at the end of this month. But instead, I think that the person or the people, whoever put in that, sizable amount of money, probably around $100 million by the reports, they were probably preceding that move and said, screw it, let's do it early.
Yeah.
And...
speed it up. This is somewhat textbook market manipulation.
Yeah. And but you have to do it with real money. So real money was being put on Coinbase, Kraken, a couple other exchanges, and they were all put in through automated orders. So whoever spent real money. So, and
this is just an example of if you play your cards right and you do your research and you get into this market, you could certainly make money. Actually, I want to pull up something real quick.
One more thing before we leave this chart real quick is this yellow line here that's cutting through the wick. That's the 200-day moving average, and that's one of the moving averages which is the most bullish because it's so long term. If the price gets above there, that's kind of the second marker of extremely strong movement.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
And I just as a personal marker, I want to show you guys. So, right now, currently at this moment in time, one Bitcoin is now $5,020. Okay, so if you bought when we told you in February, what was the price?
So it was about $3,500 to $3,700 when we were talking about this throughout the second half of February.
So nothing too crazy, but if you bought one Bitcoin there, you would have made $1,500 free. Not a lot of money, but nice little pocket change. And then you can see how this affected the markets. Actually, Bitcoin Cash has taken a huge jump of 49%. So if you would have been, if you bought Bitcoin Cash, let's say you put $5,000 into Bitcoin Cash, you could sell it all right now and you'd be up, to 7,500, right?
Yeah, it wouldn't be a double. It'd be like a 1.5 times.
Oh.
So 100% is a double.
Oh, okay. So then you put 5,000.
5,000 would be 7,500 probably.
7,500. Yeah. I
think that's what you said.
Yeah, I said that.
Yeah, I was thinking of it slightly differently, so I wasn't 100% listening exactly.
So. And then you guys know I had Binance Coin. Binance Coin is doing really good too. But these are things that you can just this is real. This is not fake. Like you can make money.
Yeah, and for example, go up to here, go up to number 24, Dogecoin.
Yep.
This is a meme coin, right? This is just a coin which is basically made for a joke. But even, those coins, I mean, you can make money on a scam because...
it's less than a penny.
Yeah, it's penny stock, right? It's worthless.
But even during the bear market, this thing was pumped. Or during the bull market, excuse me.
And on my show, every day I do a coin of the day, and I go through the 4 to 6 points of what you need to have to evaluate a cryptocurrency. Some of these, all they have is a community that supports them, and sometimes that's enough for them to move their prices.
Yeah.
Of course, that's not the strongest thing to have in a thing that you want to invest in, but if they actually have a community like Dogecoin does, you can actually move up in price. But so I wouldn't recommend those types of things until you've actually been making profits in Bitcoin for 3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
But once you know how to do the Bitcoin game and kind of get used to the volatility in the market, jump in and kind of get your feet wet, then after 3 to 6 months, you can start looking at maybe one of the top 20 coins, probably number 7, Binance Coin, being one of the better ones long term.
Yeah.
But right now, Bitcoin's running the market. Go up to the top of this screen. It's at 50% dominance, so still about the same as it was before this jump. But basically, it is 50% of the market. So it is moving the market. Whatever happens to Bitcoin will bring everything else up or down.
And you can see here in these little mini graphs, you see Bitcoin does a jump. Everybody has a kind of similar pattern to Bitcoin, as you can see here.
Yeah, and right now is one of the simpler moves to watch because it happens so quickly. Everything else is just trying to catch up.
Monero took a nice little jump too. Yeah, everything seems to be popping up. Very interesting. It's good for you guys that actually show up and watch this. This is actually a really good learning experience.
Yeah, I think jump in, get your feet wet, understand, just listen to a lot of this stuff and, learn as you go along because that's how you do it.
What does bullish mean? Bullish means that the market is trending upwards in price, and so a bull market is a good thing. It means it's a market where you can make some money.
Yep.
The opposite is the bear market. Bear market when the price is trending down. And then you could still theoretically make money in the bear market, but it's a little bit more complex. But bull market is typically where most people make most of their money, and big money too in cryptocurrency.
Yeah, and a lot of people, they try to overanalyze, what should I do in a bear market? What should I do in a bull market? But basically in a bear market, the main action you should be taking is selling. And in a bull market, the main action you should be taking is buying. So in this case, if we're transitioning over the next, if we've already transitioned, or over the next 3 to 6 months, we're transitioning into the next bull market, accumulating or buying below these levels, below 5,000 basically. Between now, I'm going to, I was saying before, 2,000 to 4,500 was, a super great buy time. Now, because of this move, I have to adjust that up from, 3,000 to 5,000. If you buy anywhere within that range, even if the price does dip down, I don't see it dipping that as far as people had predicted it to go in the past.
And this isn't necessarily a get rich quick scheme.
Oh,
this is a long-term investment. However, like I said, every guy, 5 years down the road, you're going to be wanting to at least own one Bitcoin.
Yeah.
In 5 years. If you're not planning on being dead in 5 years, you should probably have a Bitcoin in your possession, on your bread wallet, on an exchange if you're going to be trading a little bit.
Well, what's going to happen after it hits over the all-time high over $20,000 again? Once that happens, it's going to become bling, right? It's going to be I own one Bitcoin. It's going to be something that
a status symbol.
It's going to be a status symbol. It's going to be one that's going to be harder to flaunt, and probably you won't want to flaunt too much to certain people. But
Russian gangsters come for you.
Yeah, exactly. But
shoot you in your fucking car.
we had a boss who, during the height of the last bull market, he was just like, Yeah, no, I just want one Bitcoin, you know? And he just wanted it because it was a status symbol and he'd gotten to that level. So once we get to, that 50,000, that 100,000 Bitcoin, or even that 200,000 or 300,000 Bitcoin, it's going to stop being a status symbol and it's going to be a wealth symbol. It's just going to be beyond, what most people can afford. So even just getting a fraction of one now and figuring out how to, work in this market. One of the shows on my channel is called Why 2019 is the Best Year to Accumulate Bitcoin. Shit like this. By the end of this year, I think, between $8,000 to $10,000 is not a stretch of the imagination whatsoever.
And usually, that's what we predicted at the end of 2017.
What do you mean?
We
for that price, roughly.
We thought it was going to be 8 to 10,000, and then it hit 19. So actually, I think because things are moving faster. Clearly, this is an artificial. This is an artificial move. Clearly, somebody sat around and planned this.
Yeah, somebody said, I have $100 million that I want to put over 4 exchanges over the course of 1 to 2 hours, and they automated all those buys. And Coinbase has to know who they are. Right. On Kraken, I think you can still probably do the non-KYC, but if you're putting that much money in, the exchanges have the information on who this person or these people are. Of course, they're never going to leak that information, and these people, hacked. Yeah, and these people are going to have to report it on their taxes if they take it back out into fiat for sure. But because they probably have taken, if they're smart, they would have taken all of this off the exchanges as quickly as possible and put it into cold wallets. Because if they keep it on the exchange, like you said, if the exchange goes down or the exchange gets hacked in particular, then it's not good news. So whoever's doing this or a group of people who are doing this, they're going to have a system of how they're doing this step by step. So it's not going to be something where they get in and then they pull the rug out from the market the next day and say, hey, I'm taking my profit. Because if they did that, I think pulling off a move like that would be more difficult to go out than get in.
Yeah. And Nick says, I tried to buy coins yesterday with Bread Wallet, and my bank would not allow the transaction. Any thoughts and solution? Yeah, call your bank and tell them to go straight to fucking hell. And let them, I don't know, call them up, man, because, banks are losing their fucking mind. Yeah, I ran my rant with Chase the other day, how they just refused to, they said they were going to call me back. They never called me back. They're like, yeah, just fuck you. We took $600 from you. Fuck you.
Oh, for the fees, like you mentioned last week.
Yeah, right? For the fees. I'm gonna go down there and fucking beat the shit out of that Indian guy in that Call Center, even though he has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's not the guy.
Send a message.
go after Jamie Dimon,
Yeah, that'd be great. I would love to hit him with a baseball bat.
I'm sure a lot of people
would. I would like to hit him with a baseball bat.
Yeah. We don't promote violence on this show, but
no.
I know.
If there was a simulation I could go into and beat the fuck out of Jamie Dimon with a baseball bat, I would spend a good amount of time in there.
You could probably make money off of that idea. Might be one way to cultivate some good crypto.
Can we buy fuckjamiediamond.com? We should.
Oh, you definitely could if it's available.
That would be a good business idea.
But yeah, just kind of seriously on that question, with some of these accounts, some of the banks or even some of the credit cards, like Master, Visa, and these ones, sometimes I've never had it happen to me, but sometimes they do flag stuff that's related to cryptocurrency transactions. So you do probably have to call in and say, hey, what's the deal? Find out what the actual reason is for that. You can probably bypass it, but it kind of sucks, right?
It's probably just an automated security measure.
Could be.
Because actually, if you're not just doing local transactions, obviously I'm a global man, I'm traveling all over the world. Once you start doing a little bit more than average stuff for your money, that's when they really fuck you. They try and lock your shit down. What are you doing buying Bitcoin? What are you doing asking me fucking questions? This is my money, you cocksucker,
Well, and that's why I love Japan, because there's a good and bad part about Japan making cryptocurrency, or at least Bitcoin, an actual money. They actually recognize it as legal tender, legal currency.
Yeah.
The good thing is they have approved 16 different exchanges, roughly, to actually do this business, right? The problem with that is if you're going in through your bank, you only have 16 ways to get in. But the good thing about that is they won't stop you.
Right.
So it's kind of a catch-22 in that regard for Japan. Whereas in America, it's a little bit more open. They're not regulating it as much, but then you have stuff like that where the different companies try to say, no, I don't want to let you do that type of transaction.
What a pain in the ass, these fuckers.
Yeah,
I hate the banks.
They're trying to hold on to the last bit of power that they have, because
Oh yeah,
this is literally a financial revolution.
it is.
And so, like I'd shown in previous shows, we're just at the 1.5 to 2% penetration of the global population for this new type of innovation, new type of money, going from an innovator phase to an early adopter phase. This next bull market will take us from that, maybe let's say roughly 2% of the population, to who knows, maybe up to 10% possibly.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where it's just it can go crazy.
Once a woman can actively explain what cryptocurrency is, then we're like, okay.
Well, think about it this way, right? With email, do you have to explain how email works?
Well, even an idiot can do it these days.
On a basic level, but if you were to ask them, like, well, how do you encrypt an email and stuff like that? Because emails are actually, the way they encrypt them is somewhat similar to how, it's just encryption, so a lot of things are encrypted similarly on the internet. Mm-hmm. But most people would say, like, what they imagine to happen and just the basics of it, and it wouldn't be wrong once we can get to that point. Because I don't think most people are never going to really delve into this and really understand like what's happening on a computer science level.
Good question from Cody. You should handle that one.
Where is that?
At the last.
Would a bull market strategy be just to buy in, or is there a way to trade as it's uptrending? So the strategy would be to buy in, and then we'll show you a little bit of the market psychology today with how a bear market ends. What I would say is, once the bull market is confirmed and is going up, I wouldn't trade as much as possible. I'd try to trade as least as possible.
You want to trade in the bear market because you know that motherfucker's tanking.
Yeah.
So you can get in and get out and accumulate more coins.
Yeah.
For because during the whole bear market, all Charlie was doing is sit around trading and accumulating coins.
Yeah, and so my dollar value was just being protected, right? All my profits were being
protected. His US dollar amount was staying the same, but he was cultivating cryptocurrency, as you may know.
Yeah, some coins multiplied by two or three times, and then some coins multiplied by 5, some by more.
But to try to catch the uptrend in a bull market is so risky, and
it's hard. You'll probably lose most of your trades on that end, especially once it goes like towards the end of the bull market. Because that's when it goes kind of vertical.
Yeah.
During the early part, like now, we're basically not currently in a bull market or a bear market. We're kind of in between phase. So that's the point.
Well, it's one move. We could still be in a bear market, and
exactly.
This is like this shit theoretically could crash back down to like 2,000 or 3,000 or so.
Yeah, and now that we've moved up this far, I would say probably 2,800 would be my worst case scenario. Previously, people's worst case scenarios were realistically 1,800, but some people were going even as far as 1,300. But one thing also that's kind of a signal in these markets is when people get so confident in the opposite of what's happening. People got so confident that the bear market will continue, it will continue indefinitely, that there's a guy named Tyler Jenks, who I mentioned on my show the other day, who had this hyperwave theory, which said it would go down to 1,300 like crazy. And then as soon as he came up with that, a couple of weeks later, this move happened. So you got to be opposite of what's kind of trending. His
credibility's in the trash now.
Well, he's trying. Yeah, he got what he wanted.
Our credibility's through the roof. We told you motherfuckers to buy Bitcoin.
Well, see, this is what always happens with Bitcoin. So it's one of those things where, follow our channel, follow our information when I show you my trades and stuff like that. You can follow our information and figure out what's happening for the next 60 days. But basically, over the course of April, and at least in the first half of May, we're probably going to be seeing strong prices in the range of 4,800 to 5,600.
I say 6,000. Just gonna go on the record.
Yeah, you can go there. You could do a what do you call it? Just like calling, what is that? The Babe Ruth calling for his home run, right?
Oh yeah.
So it's a little bit of a bold move, but it's not impossible. So
no, my instinct was telling me the other day. And I was the one who noticed this price action because Charlie's he's not as, because he's so good at this trading stuff, he's not always checking it meticulously. Like I check Bitcoin's price every day, like 2-3 times a day.
Yeah, sometimes I do that. Sometimes I'm like, okay, if I'm actively trading, I'll be like, definitely I'm like checking it like hot on, like white on rice or whatever.
But you're kind of out right now. You were out.
I was out, and then I was like, okay, when's a good time to get in? And all of a sudden, this shit happens.
I woke up and I was just like, I thought my computer had an error. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, 4,700? Like, I went to sleep. This shit was 4,000.
Yeah.
And then I was like, Charlie. And then, you know, just based on what I read and everything, my gut instinct was just like, this thing's going to keep going.
Mm. And well, there's a, you know, interesting to watch some of the professional traders too, because as soon as we were looking at that, it's like one of those times where it's like, okay, do we get in? Do we get out? You know, it's very risky, right? And that's what a lot of people are feeling right now. I think even at, you know, 5,000. And one of the things that you have to evaluate in that time is, especially because this 2-hour volume is basically, I haven't seen anything like it ever in Bitcoin in terms of within 2 hours making this big of a move. It's just, you know, insane compared to where the price was at in terms of percentage.
Yeah.
And I think if you go back past like 2016 or whatever, probably in the early days of Bitcoin, you could probably find something like that. But at least in 2017, I couldn't find anything that was like this crazy. Of course, there were different crazy things that happened in that year, but not within 2 hours. And so it's hard to make a move on that. But once that happens, then you have to take some time and evaluate, okay, is this going to stick? And after evaluating over the last day or two, it looks like it's, you know, at least going to stick at 4,800 and above. If it does dip below that, it has strong support at 43 anyways, which means it won't, you know, it won't go below 43 probably. So,
and either way, it's a good, and our personal advice is that it is a good investment no matter what.
Yeah, by the end of this year, you'll be happy no matter what you get in, as long as you're getting in below $5,000 or, you know, below 6,000 is going to be one of those things in about a month we'll be like, oh, below 6,000 is good.
And so, Cody, I want to address something to what you said again, you know, because it sounds like you're trying to make a little bit of money. So you said, would a bull market strategy be just to buy in? Now, here's the thing. This is how I fucked up in 2017. But you have to have an exit strategy.
Oh, yeah.
You have to have a predetermined amount. Okay, so let's say you start now. Let's say you buy one Bitcoin now, right? Let's say you buy $5,000. You're like, okay, I'm in, right? You have to be looking at everything and do your best to time the end of the bull market. But at the same time, don't be so greedy that you hold on and then you lose everything. So you have to make a concrete goal. Let's say you invest $5,000, right? And then you want to make 8,000. So when Bitcoin hits 8,000, you take it out. You sell. You keep your $8,000. You made $3,000 for free.
Yep.
And then, you know, come back to Charlie. Come back to us, or you know, if you do reevaluate your next strategic move. But the thing with the bull market in 2017, what I noticed too, is this kind of pump that we see right here. This shit would happen. Remember, this shit happened with Ripple. This shit happened with Verge. This happened with what's that cat coin? Monocoin, the Japanese meme coin. This happened with Dogecoin.
Yeah.
Okay, this in a bull market, this happens with a lot of coins. So what you're seeing right here is just one example of what will be happening, because this is global too. These markets never close.
Oh yeah.
Okay, anybody can buy in from any country. Oh, this happened with Bitcoin. I made $6,000 off of the Bitcoin Cash pump. Remember?
Oh yeah.
Remember we were sitting at RGF. I was like freaking out at my desk. I was like, dude, I'm gonna sell this shit. And
November of 2017, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and so you know you have to. There's multiple strategies. Like for me, for the upcoming bull market, I'm gonna set $1,000 traps in certain coins that I think will be pumpable, and then you know if the coin goes up 50%, 60%, whatever. Just pull your money out real quick.
Yeah, and that's part of it. Like one thing, I'm a little bit more long-term crypto in terms of like maybe over 5 years, right? So what I would say is like, let's say you did that 5,000 to 8,000 thing.
Yeah.
Once it gets to 8,000, take out your original 5,000 and keep the 3,000 of profit in. Yeah. That way you haven't lost any money, but everything you have in profit is just like house money, as Wasted John says, or as you know,
kind of play money. Say. Like it's your all profit. So you know if you turn that 3,000 into 30,000. Then you know that's a pretty genius move because you took out your $5,000 original investment, and then from there, you know you came up on top. But let's say let's say you buy Bitcoin at 5,000 and you sell it at 8,000. So now you have a $3,000 profit, right? You put your $5,000 back into your bank account. Now you have 3,000. Let's say you want to trade or whatever, you do something risky, you lose it all. At the end of the day, you gained experience.
Yep.
You gained experience of what not to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Who not to take advice from. Like, you know, I lost a good portion of money in 2017 by just being crazy as fuck. Like, you know, typical move of myself, just like hyper aggressive, like, you know. So I lost fiat, but I still kept the coins. But, you know, the most important thing is that you have an exit strategy. Go in with a clear and concise goal before you go into the bull market. Because, dude, the bull market is the ultimate drug.
Oh, yeah.
You're just like cracked the fuck out. Remember, like, fuck this, we're not going back to work. Like, we would be taking like 2-hour lunches, but yeah, we're at a client meeting, you know. Like, really, we're just at a little steak restaurant just talking about Bitcoin, looking at prices and everything.
It's amazing. It's fun as hell. And so this type of stuff that's happening now, like, is literally just at the tip of the iceberg, just the beginning of, you know, what we're going to see, especially in 2020, and then 2022 and probably 2023. And then after that, you know, there's going to be another correction, and there's going to be these boom and busts. But, you know, all the people who are against Bitcoin, what they're saying, right, is like, oh, it went up from $30 to $100. Oh, it must be dead now. Then it goes up from 100 to 1,000, but then it goes back down to 200. Oh, it must be dead now. Yeah. Then it goes, you know, but like it keeps having higher lows, right? And so it's one of those things that, yes, it is going to fluctuate, and it's definitely a ride. Like you said, it's a drug. But
my drug choice.
Yeah. Once we get into 2020, 2022, that frame, it's going to be even crazier. So the stuff that we're doing now, the accumulation year of 2019, if you're paying attention to it and you're, you know, learning this stuff, you know, just like 15 minutes a day, devoting, you know, your half of your lunch break to it or whatever, just like getting that information, absorbing that and getting used to it, then you'll be ready for this next one. That would be like in 2015 or the early 2016, you know, the moves were not that amazing compared to now. Or compared to 2017, but if you were in 1 year or 2 years before it went crazy, you would have thought by the beginning of 2017 it was already too high, you know, and then it just went nuts. So if you're getting in, you know, like I said, if you're getting in between 3,000 to 5,000, like you're going to be happy in a couple of years. Just make sure to put in what you're willing to lose, and stuff that you don't want to touch, you know, for a couple of years. But there are some trading strategies during this accumulation time where you can, let's say, buy half a Bitcoin, try to trade that to 1 Bitcoin, and then hold that through 2020, 2022.
Right. See, like
that type of stuff is possible.
Like a small little playful thing I did last year. Like it was 2017 when we were in Hawaii. We were on a company trip in Hawaii, and I was fucking wasted. But I was like,
yeah, I was going to mention that detail. But I was just waiting for you to mention it.
I was fucking smashed. But I was like, I know this Binance coin is going somewhere, Charlie. And he's like, whatever, man. And all.
I had about a month before that. I was like, I agree with you 100%.
And I was trashed in Hawaii, but I was like, I'm gonna put $1,000 down. And anyways, what happened with that $1,000 is, I bought equivalent about 0.12 Bitcoin was the equivalent in coins, and then I did a couple trades. And I ended up coming out 1 year later, just by playing the bear market. The 0.125 Bitcoin became 0.51 Bitcoin. So I 4x'd my Bitcoin. So I got half a Bitcoin. I got 3/4. No, I don't even fucking know my math. Basically, I went from 0.12 to 0.51 completely for free. So like 0.3 something Bitcoin free. And so 0.3 Bitcoin right now is, you know, what is that? That's like a little over.
What would that be?
It's 5,000 right now.
That'd be 3,000.
So like, yeah, $3,000. So I made $3,000. Not a lot of money, of course. You know, I've kind of got a part-time job and made more money that. But all I did was touch the keyboard and
twice or 3 times, not even, right?
You know, just kind of set it, forget it. So Captain Ron has some actually good questions over there under Pine's thing.
All right, basic theory question. What is backing up the value and driving the price? Yeah, we get this question all the time. Is the value currency used to buy it, or the amount of coins on the market? What is driving the demand? So on my channel, every day when I do the coin of the day, I break down each coin into a few different things. The first thing is I usually look at who developed it, the first thing I look at is what's the purpose of the coin, because that'll tell you a lot of, you know, why it's actually being created. And then 2, who developed the coin, who is making, what kind of company, or also what kind of developers are making the coin. Are they very active? So these are two things that back the coin. The third part, which you're mentioning here a little bit, is the technicals. What is actually the monetary policy of the coin? How is it created? What's the technical aspect behind the computer science that's creating this coin? Does it have a limited supply? These types of things. And then after that, what's the economics of the coin? How is it perceived? Like, on the coin market cap, how much money is flowing through it? Does it have a lot of liquidity or not? And then the last thing I look at is, what's the community, or what's the world saying about it? Are people using it? Does it have a devoted backing behind it? And if you have, the more you have of all of these, basically this checklist, the more you have of these, probably the more stable it will be. Of course, the part that's probably the most important is the purpose of the coin, but also the technicals behind it. How is it created? So for Bitcoin in particular, there's quite a few things, but it's a limited supply. It's very decentralized, which means nobody can stop the transactions. It can't be copied.
So let's just keep it simple. Okay, so
Yeah.
he says, what is backing up the coin's value and driving the price? Okay, so in regards to Bitcoin, what's backing up the coin's value is two things. Okay, what's driving up the price is fiat currency. Fiat currency is any currency issued by a government. So United States dollar, Japanese yen, Australian dollar, Chinese yuan, Korean won, right? These are all examples of currency. The more people buy into Bitcoin, the higher the price goes up. Okay?
Yeah, and that will happen with all these other coins too, right? So the more people that are behind it, the more that has a community, or the more that liquidity it has on the coin market cap,
right? So
the more money flowing through it.
The second question, is it the value of the currencies used to buy it? Yes. Okay? Or the amount of coins in the market? Also, yes.
Yes.
Okay? Because if there's more coins, it's like inflation. Supply and demand. If there's more of something, okay, the value is shit. Right? Water, buy it for $1. Why? Water's everywhere. Gold, can you buy gold for $1? Can you buy diamonds for $1? No, because this is super rare.
Exactly. And the scarcity of Bitcoin, right, is the one thing that drives it. So there's only 21 million coins that will ever be created.
Right.
Currently, there's about 17 or 18 million that are already in circulation. So the main way to get it now is just by buying it, which means more people are buying it to chase, after that, and, accumulate more, which is driving the price up.
So and then the last question, what is driving demand? What is driving demand is the market and the utility of Bitcoin.
Yeah, so that's the purpose of the coin.
Right.
Why is it created? And you can go with
right.
that
So
if you
just
want.
but right now, basically, to keep it for simple terms, what is driving demand? People want Bitcoin because A, they know it's a financial investment. B, it's digital gold. Okay, and then C, there is utility to it. You can put $30,000 worth of Bitcoin on your wallet and just take it right across some borders. Because if you travel with more than $10,000, and every government wants to be like, "What do you got $10,000? What are you doing with this? What are you doing with that?" Like, why is it your fucking business?
Yep.
We gotta stop terrorism. Like, okay, cool. So now I'm a member of Al Qaeda because I just happen to be successful in life.
Yeah.
But with Bitcoin, you just on your wallet, sir, do you have $10,000 cash? No. You have any Bitcoin? What the fuck is Bitcoin? All right, next.
Yeah. Exactly.
There's a limit to that guy's $40,000 a year salary, and him giving a fuck. So I just be like, all right, next.
Yeah. And the topic of my show yesterday was Bitcoin is literally and figuratively freedom of speech. So it's a way you can communicate your value over borders without any limitations. So the way the network is created, because like I mentioned before, it is so decentralized that if these governments try to stop it or try to stop these transactions, there are so many ways to go around those types of regulations that it's basically unstoppable, and that also drives its utility and value once you actually start using it, either to buy stuff or do transfers overseas or stuff like that.
Yep.
You'll notice.
And even my business, I offer 50% discounts on all consultations if you pay for Bitcoin. Because I know where Bitcoin's going, and some guy's like, "Yeah, I'll give you $35 in Bitcoin." I'm like, "Yeah, I'll take it."
Yeah, it's good stuff.
And people bought some people bought the body language course with Bitcoin, so I took that, and that is actually accumulated now to higher value. So theoretically it could have dropped, or I could have it could have had a bear market, and I would have lost money.
Yeah, but that's all on you, right? So once you actually get it, you can move it, right? You can say, okay, as soon as I get this, I'm going to sell it into dollars, or I'm going to hold it. You know, you can, if you're a person who's getting it, you just have to know what to do with it, right?
Right.
So if you're just going to get it, hold it, then yeah, you're going to be at the mercy of the volatility. But if you're aware of this stuff, at least, you know, on a weekly basis, then you can actually make educated decisions like, okay, I just received $500 in Bitcoin. Is it a good time to keep it, or should I sell it into dollars and then buy back in at a lower price?
Right.
It always depends on what's happening in the market. And right now, it's going well.
So we're at 45 minutes. Let's choose what do you think is the important stuff from there, from all our tabs.
There's some fun stuff in there that's a little bit less serious we can jump into. Or
let's show the basketball meme.
The which one?
The meme on Twitter.
Oh, the soccer one. Yeah.
Oh, is it soccer? Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So just click. There we go.
Do you have the desktop volume on?
Yeah.
Okay. And then this one?
Yep. There you go.
Through a couple of times.
Oh, that's fucking hilarious. I love it. Nobody get excited. Don't fire up the Vegeta memes yet.
Yeah, and this brings me over to this, which is actually a perfect idea of that kind of feeling, is this right here. Disbelief. This is a sucker's rally. This type of psychology of a market cycle is true in stocks as well as anything else. And you could see, you know, in 2017, people were here. And then
Euphoria, that definitely was there.
Yeah, and then last year there was a lot of this, a lot of anger and depression. Panic happened in the early part of 18, but the depression and the anger happened over the second half. And then now that it's actually coming up, people are just kind of like, I never believed in it in the first place. It's just going to go down again. Bitcoin sucks, all this stuff. And then, once we start getting up here in this disbelief and back up into hope again, then, probably at the end of this year, beginning of next year, once we get in here, it's good. You don't want to get in when all these normies are getting in. You want to, get in a little bit disbelief. And that's why 2019 is one of the best years to get some. To
buy in, right?
Yeah.
And you got to remember, this is long term. This is not like I'm going to buy. I mean, if you drop $100,000, if you're a guy that has $100,000 in access and then you drop it on some shit, I mean, even if you drop it on, I don't know, Bitcoin Cash, in 3 days, you're only going to make $50,000, which I say again is nice pocket change, but it's really hard to project what's going to happen.
Mm.
But, if you just think long term and accumulate, then oh, please link the chart in this chat. Okay.
Which one?
We got you. They want to see this one.
Oh, yeah. The market cycles.
Yeah, the market cycles chat is, here you go. Here's the market cycles. And it's just funny, like we have this huge price action right now, and then actually today is like the first day we hit 30 viewers on the show.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so it just shows you like the normie nature. Like, the guys have been telling who've been watching, who've been calling in, arguing with us, whatever, like this is like for you guys that took action at the beginning. Even when in the Body Language Mastery private Facebook group, I posted the Coinbase thing the other day.
Okay.
For the free coins,
yeah.
And I told the guys, buy those coins and convert them to Bitcoin. And Ernie actually did it. And he's like, wow. He's like, I made a little bit of money off of that. And I was like, nice. There you go.
Good.
So I got $3. How do I get some Bitcoin? You got to get a job.
Yeah, I would say, $60 you'd be able to do it, or $20 you'd be able to do it, because most of these exchanges where you can buy it on, they're going to charge you a bit of a fee to get in. So, if you have $20 or more dollars, you can buy some.
Yeah, so then Mr. Jackson says, should you hold Bitcoin on Binance to make quick exchanges? Yeah, but it's
not a problem.
It's not a problem, but so based on your skill level, I wouldn't be jumping into trading right away.
You wouldn't be jumping in and out too much. It'd be like once a quarter, you make a move in or out, right? So whatever you're trading, it'd be fine to keep it on exchange. Just make sure it's not too much money. But if it's like, for example, like $1,000 and it's your first time trading, just put it in, wait to get some profit. Once you're in some profit, ask us, should I, pay attention to what's happening? Ask us some questions on what you should be doing. and then maybe once every 3 months, if there's a good downtrend, then you might be able to get out, buy in a little bit lower again, and then come back in, something like that. But it's not something I would be doing a lot of. But keeping it on Binance is not a problem as long as it's not that much.
Yeah. Not bad. Captain Ron says, good guys, thanks, I get it. Especially the last part, using currency over borders. The actual utility is the end game, yes.
Yeah, and we live in Japan, right?
Yeah.
So using the SWIFT bank system, you have to pay at least $50 to send your money from a Japanese bank to an American bank. And then also you have to have a SWIFT code on both ends.
I fucking hate the banks.
You have to actually go to the Japanese bank, work with it in Japanese.
Fumble your way through the conversation.
Yeah, and then you have to wait like three days, sometimes 2 weeks for the money to actually get transferred overseas.
It's a fucking dinosaur system.
It's crazy.
It's fucking dinosaur shit. It's like 2019. Like, give me my cash instantaneously. Yep. Take as little bit money as possible, because these fucking bullshit fees that you're saying, like, it's not like you have like a warehouse full of like Somalians that are like moving the fucking cash by hand. It's like you're clicking buttons. It's all automated.
And then you got the people in between there saying, I'm going to take a few pennies here, and they're just stealing your money. Whereas with Bitcoin, you just pay a little bit for the transaction. If you send like $100, you'll probably pay like maybe $1.
Yeah.
And then within an hour, it'll be wherever you sent it.
Right.
Within an hour, probably within 10 minutes.
Right, depending on the mempool, but yeah.
Yeah, a lot of different things, but pretty damn quickly.
Good shit. Just, smash the like button, guys. 26 viewers, 19 likes. Good shit. Let's talk about a little bit more what we got going on here. So let's talk about, let's go into the actual depth of what happened with this market move. So we have two news articles here, and it says, Bitcoin price jump due to anonymous buyer. And it says Reuters is reporting that the 20% jump in Bitcoin is due to an anonymous buyer snapping up 100 million in BTC, and that's the code for Bitcoin. Okay, so this is pretty wild. Let's go ahead and take it from there, Charlie. You're the expert.
Yeah, no problem. One of the interesting things I saw in this article was they have this article in particular has two theories. So this one is saying Reuters is reporting. Right?
Reuters, my bad.
Yeah, well, I don't. Yeah, one of the two. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I don't know.
Screw the media. Anyway.
I'm really good at banging girls. That's reading is. I can read text messages. That's about it.
But yeah. Anyways, so it's just interesting that they're going off of that report, right? And so that's one theory, right? Or basically, we'll go into the actual Reuters article, and they have a lot of data for that, which is interesting. But here it says it was algorithmically managed across at least 3 venues with 20,000 Bitcoin on those 3 exchanges at the same time for buying around $7,000 of Bitcoin per hour.
7,000 Bitcoin in an hour.
Yeah, which is pretty insane.
Yeah.
But then, and that makes sense. Whereas this one is hilarious. It's like price jump due to April Fool's joke. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, it was a prank by the U.S. Securities and Exchange, which is the SEC, who does all the regulation in the states, because they said...
Corrupt organization.
Yeah, but they're not going to be pumping prices.
No, I just want to shit on government and bank at any given time.
Yeah. They just it's a what do you call it? A gentleman's club, right? They just want the people who they want at the top. They don't want these, internet monies coming in.
Right.
And so, but it says they had given approval for 2 Bitcoin ETFs, but actually they hadn't. But I think that's bullshit as a theory. So that one's a lot less likely. But if you go into the Reuters article, so that was the same thing that it was based on here. Where did they put that? So it's kind of just interesting, some of the data that they put out. They actually named the exchanges that the orders were put on. So they said it was triggered by an order worth $100 million spread across exchanges in the U.S. from Coinbase, Kraken, and Bitstamp, according to this guy from the BCG group. So if you really want to know, you can look into who this guy is and why he has authority. But I thought that was, pretty good data that actually shows why it moved like that, which is pretty interesting. But then also, like we said, all the altcoins moved.
The altcoins, basically an altcoin is anything that's not Bitcoin. So when we went to that chart earlier, and I was showing you like some coins went up 50%, that is just an example of like how even if this was a non-organic move, which clearly, as this article is stating, it was not organic. This can trigger the entire market upwards
pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And well, if you look at the long term things that need to happen for Bitcoin to become a stable currency, because it's going to be very volatile until it gets accepted, throughout a certain percentage of the population. Pretty much we're on the verge of the next move being institutions, basically people with shit tons of money getting in, because right now if you look at Bitcoin's like total amount of money flowing through Bitcoin compared to gold is like a drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
And so even if it gets to a few percent of gold's overall value, the money is just going to be jumping in and taking profits on that. So but I thought this article was also kind of interesting. So the block reward, basically how much Bitcoins you can mine in an hour, of 12.5 currently, next year is going to drop to 6.25. And usually 1 year before that happens, people price in the increase in price. So basically next year there's going to be fewer Bitcoin that miners can get, so less in circulation. So people right now, 1 year before that's happening, are starting to price in, okay, Bitcoin's going to be more valuable next year.
Yeah, so let me break that down for you guys in simple terms. So
yep.
What it is this, okay? Every block has, because that's why it's the blockchain, okay? Your transactions are stored in these permanent pieces of history that are called blocks, and these are account transactions. So it's like Charlie sends Jonathan $1, Jonathan sends Charlie $2. Like it just, but it marks all the transactions in alphanumeric codes, right? So there's really no identity attached to it. And in order to process these transactions, there's a mining community, people who are mining the Bitcoin. And when they help process one block, Bitcoin is an automated system that releases a reward of 12.5 Bitcoin for every block that is mined, okay?
And currently that's about basically forever, that's going to be once every 10 minutes.
Right, so every 10 minutes, 12.5 Bitcoin is released into the market. However, next year in May, that will be permanently reduced to 6.25 Bitcoin. This is called the halving, okay? And this is built into Bitcoin's algorithm, if you will. And it's going to permanently slow the flow of Bitcoin into the market. So imagine iPhones, right? Let's say iPhones. Let's say every year 1,000 iPhones come out, and Apple permanently says next year, listen, we're only going to release 500 a year. What do you think is going to happen to iPhones? The price is going to fucking skyrocket. It's this simple supply and demand. We happen to be at a very unique point in human history that we're actually going to be able to observe this. And my personal theory in 2017 was accumulate as much Bitcoin until the halving, because I think the halving is going to be a very big event in our life, because you're permanently, there is no going around this. You are permanently slowing the supply to the market, and there's no going back from this.
Yep.
So
and then it's going to happen again. It happens every 4 years, right?
Right.
So that's also why these things tend to go in 4-year cycles. The last one that happened, 2016, it cut in half. The year after that, 2017, goes up.
Right.
2020, it gets halved, priced in a little bit before that, but then also the year 2021, it's going to go up. And that happens, on a regular, consistent basis, as we've seen so far in the 10-year history of Bitcoin. But also, the thing that's interesting compared to that is, well, since the last 100 years or so, the purchasing power of the US dollar has been falling at, so it's going to continue to fall over the next, 20 years as well, at 2% per year. So the dollar's getting weaker, Bitcoin's getting stronger. What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah. No, there's going to be a big thing. So that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why we're constantly stressing, and again, we could be, this whole situation happened right now. Obviously, it is not organic, right? It is not something that happened like 100% naturally. However, we're just showing you guys that there is value in Bitcoin here, and that,
is the number not on the bottom of the screen?
Numbers should be on the screen. 657-383-1318. So, yeah, right now you're at a very unique point in human history that next year this halving is going to occur. And if you have a basic understanding of economics and you can clearly understand supply and demand, look at Bitcoin now. All right, Bitcoin already went up to $20,000. All right, and that's not even the halving occurring. So,
well, one happened a year or so before that, or a year and a half before that.
Right, and
but
so with this,
the next major one's going to be even bigger.
Right, this next halving coming up is going to be definitely factored into what exactly is going on with the price. So do not FOMO into the big green dildo candles. Wait for pullback. I bought in.
We may never pull out, you know.
Yeah, I bought in.
Yeah,
I bought in.
It's one of these things where if you're gonna get in, then you start to pay more attention to it. So if you don't have any skin in the game, you know, whatever, you know, you don't have to be in this. You know.
I just long term, because I was sitting on a little bit of profit, and I was just like, you know, I was waiting for a downward trend, and this happened. I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'm just gonna buy in, and I think it's gonna hit like 56 to 6,000. I think that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, 5,600. You mean?
Yeah, 5,600 to 6,000, right around that range. I think 6,000 will happen, and yeah, we'll see what happens. But Ernie says, in simple understanding, most other coins will follow Bitcoin for the most part. Yes. So should I look at Bitcoin as the leader of all other coins? Yes. Bitcoin is the alpha male of all cryptocurrency. All little beta males follow in his footsteps.
Yeah.
So good stuff. We got our man calling in here. Molotov cocktail.
Good stuff.
What's up, baby? You at the Ritz
Morning,
Carlton?
guys.
You at the Ritz Carlton hanging out there, guy?
No, man, I'm actually in my car right now.
What's up?
Nothing, brother. Just getting out of jiu-jitsu, joining your feed here. Good stuff, guys. Very good stuff, man. You guys, your viewers are the fact that you're putting this information out to your viewers is excellent. Because you guys are very knowledgeable, and what I want to encourage everyone listening, watching the show right now, is that you can listen. It's like learning game, right? You can read all the books, the theory, all the openers and all that stuff, but until you put it into practice, you're just not going to be financially off. So what I want to encourage everyone here to do is to buy some Bitcoin, $10, $20, I would say $20 minimum, get on an exchange. I personally buy my stuff here in the US in Cash App. I don't use Coinbase. I like Cash App for many reasons. The main reason being that Jack Dorsey, the owner of Cash App, is a big-time Bitcoin maximalist, as I am, and as I know you guys are as well. And then once you have that Bitcoin, move it around. Get a feel for it. There's no better way of learning something than by actually holding it, or practicing with it. So Bitcoin, as we know, and Charlie just made mention to this, is it's going to be volatile. And one of the reasons it's volatile is because we have not hit the S-curve adoption yet. And the reason we haven't hit the S-curve adoption yet is because, Grandma Sue and Grandpa John, they don't know how to buy on an exchange and then put it into a hardware wallet or put it into a phone wallet or brain wallets and all this stuff. And that's the reason that this is now an opportunity, is because this is early days. All this shit's going to change. The same way you now send a WhatsApp, you don't know what's going on behind the text message, when you send a WhatsApp message, and it's going to be the same with Bitcoin. So this is the opportunity. So the only way you guys are going to do this is if you actually, after you watch the show, you go and get yourself $20 worth of Bitcoin, buy yourself a wallet, a hard wallet, or just, since it's only $20, create a wallet on your desktop computer or on your phone. Get it out of the exchange, put it into your wallet, and then move it somewhere else, and that's how you're going to get a feel for it. And then you're going to become more curious into doing more research, because you're like, oh, okay, I get this shit now that you own it and now that you fucked with it a bit. Pardon my French.
No, exactly. That's exactly right. And I think most people, they dismiss it the first times they hear about it, and then once the price goes crazy, they're like, okay, now I want to get in. and then that's when they, yeah, once they get in, they actually start learning about it actually. So yeah, 100%.
Good
That is
stuff,
correct.
man.
And if you go into the history of S-curve adoptions, like you know, an S-curve adoption is like a microwave, cell phone usage, right? It all started like very bottom feeding, like, you know, choppy, and now everybody has a cell phone, everybody has a microwave, and it'll be the same with Bitcoin.
Yeah, and we're just at the 2%, just going from the innovator phase of that very beginning part of that S curve to the early adopter phase. So once we hit above that 5 to 10%, then stuff starts getting pretty crazy, right? So yeah, we're very early stages, but that's where, like you said, where all the opportunity is.
But yeah, man, thanks for calling in, dude. Keep on listening,
Exactly.
and we're gonna keep on educating these boys. So we'll talk to you later.
Sounds good, brothers. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for calling in, man.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye. Yeah, so a great caller, great educated caller there from our.
He knows the shit.
Oh, he's huge Bitcoin maximalist, and he works with money for a living. I won't go into what he does, but he lives in the Ritz-Carlton in Miami. So
That's got to be pretty good.
I'm gonna see him on the USA tour for sure.
Nice.
Winston Wolf says, "Is it okay to use local Bitcoins for acquiring?" Yes.
Yes.
As long as you know the guy. Well, he's in Romania.
True.
So
I don't know the lay of the land there, but I know
I've heard of some gangsters out there. Just
Yeah.
make sure you're meeting somewhere relatively public, relatively safe.
Don't take like duffel bags of cash with you. Make sure that it's a reasonable amount. And like do it in a very local or very public place.
Yeah, like I bought some cash. I bought some Bitcoin off of a guy before here in Tokyo, and Aaron, our pal Aaron, and so
that was in the middle of a like Bitcoin event, right? So everybody was
it was in Two Dogs in Roppongi, and so I had 100,000 yen. I counted out the cash. He showed him Bitcoin. We did the transaction. We waited for it to confirm, and I handed him the cash. I had the Bitcoin. Shook his hand. I had a beer. It was good.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of the honor system a little bit, and as long as nobody has a weapon, and they're in a public place and they're a friendly person, then
use a good discretion. If anything seems sketchy, you don't know what's going on. Verify it all.
Yeah, use common sense.
No one tricked me, but it was around $200 to $300, so they probably don't mess with their rep unless it's way more money. Yeah, that's true. They don't kill you unless it's a little bit.
No,
you got to be in the $1,000 range just to get killed.
To be honest, I almost never heard of any problems. Like, there's been, I've never heard of anybody actually getting like severely, in a problem from local Bitcoins. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, I also did this thing when I was in Korea, which was couchsurfing.com. You go and you're like, hey, I want to stay, at your place or whatever. I'll just, either buy you a beer or pay you like $10 or whatever, and I'll just stay at your place. And they kind of verify you a couple of different ways, but it's just like somebody letting you into their house who doesn't know you from halfway around the world, right? It's one of those things where you just got to use common sense and make sure you don't, walk into somewhere that's unsavory.
Yep. Good stuff. Let's talk about something else here. We're going about an hour and some change now. What else do you think is important to show them?
We can go. I mean, if you want to look at something that's a little bit anti-Bitcoin, there was that one kind of.
Let's talk about the loser knowing me. Yeah. Let's pull this one up. All right. So Matt Novak here is an idiot, and
or he's a huge troll. One of the two.
He's probably an idiot. And look at what all those flame marks mean. What does that mean? The 253,000 flame marks.
Don't know.
There's 870 comments. So
yeah.
But it says Bitcoin surges 15% overnight because nobody learned their lesson after the last crash. That's right, guys. After the Great Recession of 2008, you should never have invested into the stock market because clearly right now you wouldn't make any money.
Exactly.
Charlie has lost all his money. I've lost all my money in Bitcoin. Clearly you should listen to some asshole from fucking Gizmodo.com who's just shitting nonsense on the internet. But let's see what this dumb person has to say.
Yeah, this is one of the most entertaining articles I've ever read, so it's just hilarious. But it's like, yeah, of course it did the 15 to 20% jump up to $5,000. But it seems like nobody learned the last lesson from the bubble. The reason for the price jump was not immediately clear, which is pretty funny, but also, kind of sad, right? And so then he just mentions, it went from 20,000 down, to 3,400, which isn't even right. It went down to 3,100. Hey, got you there. and he's like, speculators will ride the roller coaster again. And then he just shows this chart, which,
What is this chart even indicating? This is a
shows,
time chart.
Yeah, it just shows where it went from 4,100 to 48, a little bit into 5,000. So, but it's like,
this was the pump.
Yeah.
This was the 100 million pump. And this is
100,000 or 1,000, yeah. Or $100 million, yeah.
$100 million US dollars pumped into the cryptocurrency. This is from CoinDesk, and it just shows
a positive movement in the chart. So it doesn't really, who cares what the price chart.
Guy's such.
But this is where it gets hilarious.
Okay,
you can read this part.
Okay. This is how stupid people are. Okay, to be clear, Bitcoin is absolutely worthless by any real measure. Thank you, fucking loser-ass journalist from Gizmodo.com who was maybe scratching $60,000 a year. Clearly, you're a fucking financial expert. Clearly, you've got this all sorted out. It's fake money that's about as practical to use in the real world as monopoly bills. So you can pay the Japanese government any form of debt, any form of taxes with cryptocurrency. You can go to multiple shops. I bought look at this. This is a 2018 MacBook Pro. This thing is tricked the fuck out. I paid 0.68 Bitcoin for this in January. I bought this with fake money.
Yeah,
okay?
don't come back in 10 years and remember that price in Bitcoin. Like buying one of those pizzas. I did the same thing with my computer too. I bought my computer in Bitcoin here too. So
I'll come rub it in your face too.
It's one of the things you'll never want to look back on because it's going to be worth so much more. But anyways, like the thing he said about monopoly bills, well, using the U.S. dollar.
Yeah, that's the real thing. The United States dollar is backed by guns and fear because there's really nothing backing the U.S. dollar. The Federal Reserve is not even a government agency. It's a private organization.
So many countries, want to get off the dollar standard in the world once they actually have the cojones to do it.
Then they get a little dose of freedom.
Yeah,
America comes over, starts dropping bombs. Like, you want to get off the fucking dollar standard?
Yep, they sanction the share of them. But once, that tide turns, the American dollar is going to be worthless.
So Bitcoin Bitcoin is backed by nothing and requires tremendous amount of energy to mine using computers. I want to slap the taste out of this guy's mouth because he's so stupid.
Well, yeah, it's like, okay, all the computers in the world, we shouldn't have computers because it takes so much power to run them, or we shouldn't have electricity. We should go by candlelight.
This guy's such a moron. As Bitcoin becomes more difficult to mine, it saps more and more energy, causing millions of tons of carbon dioxide to be pumped into the atmosphere and accelerating climate change. Is he have a rainbow dildo up his ass in the middle of California while wearing an LGBTQ, this guy's virtue signaling so much in this small ass fucking paragraph. I want to slap the shit out of this guy. Bitcoin is little more than a speculator's death cult at this point. Bitcoin is so rife with scam artists that Google and Facebook banned cryptocurrency advertisements on their platform last year.
Well, and also
Bitcoin. That's not Bitcoin. That's cryptocurrency. Those are ICOs that were scamming ICOs. It's not because of Bitcoin.
Well, yeah, this guy is not even putting out real information. But the other thing is, what happened to Facebook last year, right? They had to go in front of the United States government and explain themselves.
They're all spying on us.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not. These are not virtuous companies. Matt Novak, you fucking moron. This is why I hate people that just spread that don't spread truth. This guy's such a talentless loser. I want to.
Yeah, and then, that's pretty
much... I'm going to put him in the Jamie Dimon beat up with somebody with a baseball bat simulator.
Well, at the end, he's like, humans never learn, so do what you want. This time's going to be different, right? Well, the funny thing about this time's going to be different, right? No, it's not. It's, when it went from $100 to $1,000 and back down to $200 and then up to, eventually $20,000, it's going to keep happening. So, yeah, you're right. It's going to keep increasing in value, right?
Yeah. No, This guy, let's see what the comments say. Matt Novak, can we just look at this idiot? Can we just see this moron?
Shit-eating grin.
Oh, God, he has an army of people that listen. Paleo Future, awesome.
The better one to look at is this Eric Connor guy who retweeted it, and he was just like, this is the worst article ever.
Oh, yeah, and then, what is this? There's the...
Oh, yeah. Totally salty.
Salty. But he's buying that salt coin.
Even CZ from Binance, you can't see it on this thread because it's so far down, but if you look on CZ's account, I tried to find it. I couldn't find it, but I found it on my own thread.
What does he say?
CZ basically said somebody didn't hodl.
So what is his tag?
CZ underscore Binance, but I tried to find it. I got it on my phone.
Open it more.
Yeah. The Putin meme's not bad on this thread if you go up to the top.
Let's see the Putin meme. Yeah, Bitcoin is a Russian scam as well.
Right there.
Give that man 2 medals, one for being in case he loses the first one.
So yeah.
What a moron.
Yeah, but you're gonna keep getting this kind of disbelief.
I'm gonna tell him you are stupid.
Beautiful.
God, what an imbecile.
But same with that psychology, chart that we showed before. People are just gonna be in disbelief.
Let's take a look at this. This is when he said.
Yeah, I think go to
this one.
Yeah, this one's the better one.
I am the most powerful computing network the world has ever seen. I have never had 1 second of network downtime. I have not suffered one fraudulent transaction. I am Bitcoin.
Yeah, and so there's this
clearly useless.
Yeah, exactly.
No utilization. This guy, I'm so fired up about this guy. I can go for hours. Oh, we got a caller on the line. Let's see.
Oh, cool.
Caller's been holding for 2 minutes. Is this Matt Novak?
No.
What's going on? Who's
Not
this?
Matt Novak, no.
Who is this?
Hey, how you doing?
Hey.
My name is James.
What's up,
Hey,
James?
Just, I haven't been listening in too much, but I heard the last few minutes, and I do have some Litecoin invested. I actually won it gambling.
Okay.
Because my ex left me, and I got into some bad habits, and I miss her so much. But I actually have 30 Litecoins from gambling.
Not bad.
Offshore.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Where are you holding those, brother?
I'm holding them in Coinbase, but I'm looking into getting a hardware wallet.
Well, you don't. Can you do it on bread?
I don't think so. Maybe. I think it's one of the main ones because Charlie Lee's an advisor to them, so probably.
I think what you can do, you can add wallet.
Well, those are all ERC coins. I don't think you can do it on bread.
Let's see. Okay. Well, what you can do.
Yeah, because I don't want something to happen like the exchange in Canada.
Yeah.
You guys obviously heard about that,
Yeah, the
right?
guy who died, right? The owner who died?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guy died, everything
Forgot
was
his
cold
keys.
storage, and the government actually had to step in.
Yeah, I remember that one. But yeah, I think just find there's different Litecoin wallets. You just Google like Litecoin wallet. I think I don't know if Electrum has a Litecoin version or not, but there's definitely dedicated wallets out there where you can actually hold the coins yourself.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah, I've been definitely doing my research. Been following the bull run the past couple of days, and it definitely feels like it did back in November 2017.
Yeah, because Litecoin went from $60 to $80 during this last day or so.
And then what did Litecoin peak out at?
And now it's at
Oh, go ahead.
339 something.
339 was when Litecoin peaked out at.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So honestly, dude, if you have
339 something.
if you have 30 Litecoin, I say you're in a good position just to hang out. Just don't make a move.
Yeah, I think in the next bull run, if you hold on to it for a few years, it's definitely going to go over $500. So that's quite a good chunk of change right there.
Nice little revenge money for the ex. Yeah. Nice little little casual fuck you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's nice little change. And then right now is a good time just to be accumulating, in my opinion, James. Just slowly but surely, just get a little bit here, a little bit there, nothing too wild.
And then just understand what you're holding.
Yep. That's what I would say.
Absolutely.
Where are you at, James? Are you in the States?
I am in the United States.
Oh,
Okay.
cool.
Thanks for calling in.
Coast.
Any other questions?
Do you expect it to go over $1,000 within the next couple of years?
I think it's possible.
For sure, definitely possible.
Yeah, so on my show, I talked about Litecoin a couple of days ago. It was probably late last week or early this week. I forget which day exactly, but I did it as coin of the day, and I actually did some price movements on that. Probably this year, it might go up a little bit more, but once we get into that bull run, I think $1,000 is actually very possible for Litecoin.
Yeah,
per coin.
definitely. It's one of the top 5.
Yeah. So it's definitely a good one to hold. I think you got cut out.
Yeah, I got you. I'm definitely holding. I just got one last question for Jonathan, if he's available.
I got you, bro. What's up?
Kind of off topic.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a question for another day, but I just want to know who hurt you and sent you on your red pill journey.
Nobody really hurt me. It's just, I mean, life is an experience of pain and lessons. So I think it was like 23 is when I got my big red pill moment. I was chasing after this one chick, and she fell for me, but I just completely botched it because I blue pilled my whole actions, and it backfired in my face. And I was like, I did everything right. I don't get it. What's happening? And yeah, that was a big part of it right there.
Gotcha.
So, but yeah, keep in touch. Subscribe to the channel. Participate in the chat, and then we'll say what's up. Alrighty?
All right, guys. Have a good day. That's all.
All right, you too, man. Have
Thanks,
a good day,
James. See you later.
Good.
Sweet.
I like the random call-ins every once in a while.
Oh, for sure. You guys got to call in more. Good stuff. Ernie wants to know if you have a Twitter. Didn't you just make one right now?
Yeah, I just made one today, actually, and yeah, I gotta get it.
You could be his first follower. What is it?
Well, I tried to look it up, and it because there's a technical issue. I have to fix it after the show, but tomorrow on my show I'll mention it. But it's at Cultivate Crypto.
Let me see if I can pull you up.
I tried to do it earlier.
Did you pull it up in here? It did not work?
No.
Oh, yeah, it's not activated yet.
Yeah, so I have to activate it, but I made that today. It'll be at Cultivate Crypto. Just type that in there tomorrow or the next day, and you'll definitely get it.
Good stuff. All right, let's see. Let's go back up to here. Always bring a weapon, says Greg B. I love you, Greg. Well, just to say that about the USD, as if fiat is worth anything. I mean, it is going to always have some value, but what's happening is just like we're just basically like freedom money.
Yeah.
Like, it's just more like, you can't stop. This is human evolution. Like, governments served their purpose in the past, but now, like, governments are bordering on, like, gluttony, like what they're trying to do.
Exactly. They did so much of this bullshit that they're just ruining themselves.
And, the whole, like, bailing out these big corporations that fucking tumbled the economy in 2018 or 2008.
Iceland was the only country with the balls enough to say our bankers actually committed fraud and screwed our population, so we're putting them in jail.
Yeah.
Whereas in the United States, we give them tax money.
Yeah, and then I want to mention this comment here. AJDX88 says, too many false prophets in the crypto space. Be careful who you follow. That's 100% true. That's part of like why we are doing this cryptocurrency show right now, is because we wanted to start it. Because remember, when we started this show, like, it was not cool to talk about Bitcoin.
Oh,
it was not
hella
cool.
uncool. It still is boring for a lot of people. It's like one of these things where it's like, okay, how do you make a topic that's mix of finance, computer science, all this stuff super interesting? Well, there's some good stuff and there's some knowledgeable stuff. But at the same time, I think it's like, yeah, there are a lot of different types of people out there, right? So just be careful.
Yeah.
But I think the thing about us is, we are just two normal people who've happened to have some good success with this. So we want to just get out there. There's a lot of people who try to say, I'm the most rich person because of this shit. They just spout some bullshit. So we just try to keep it as real as possible.
Yeah, like I said, I've not made tens of thousands of anything yet, but that day is coming. So I've just been slowly. That's why I said all my dating services I charge 50% off if you pay in Bitcoin, because I just know the value of what's going to happen with Bitcoin. So I mean, let's catch up with these comments, and I think we're going to call it here today.
Yeah, sounds good.
Molotov says the MSM mainstream media will shit on Bitcoin while these institutions accumulate Bitcoin at low prices and fuck retail investors like they always do.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Epic Sunglasses. Thank you, Buckle House Spirit. First time to see you here. Trezor is a great hard wallet. Absolutely. Good stuff. So yeah, man, that's going to do it there for us, guys. Today's our longest show, but I think we've been telling you for 8 weeks now about the the validity behind Bitcoin. And I think today is just a good little example to show, like, if you were to invest, you would have made some money. And for you guys in the private Facebook group for the Body Language Mastery course, I posted how to get all that free cryptocurrency the other day. Ernest Little in the chat here, I think he's the only one that took the action to watch the videos, get the free cryptocurrency, and immediately change it to Bitcoin. And now Bitcoin's skyrocketing, and he made free money. I don't know how much he made, but he's probably made at least a little $100, $200. But at the end of the day, it's free Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And that's like a fucking super valuable asset. So, all right, guys. Tony S., thanks for watching. Guys, thank you so much. Follow. Well, go to Charlie's website because you can't follow him on social media yet.
Yeah, there's I guess just cultivatecrypto.com.
Cultivatecrypto.com. Cultivatecrypto.com. So right there, go to his website, sign up for his email list, and then he does a daily show as well on his YouTube channel where he goes into far more deep analysis. Just type in
Cultivate Crypto.
Go to Cultivate Crypto into YouTube, and you'll see Charlie. He does a show every day before my show in the morning, so you can watch his show, and you can watch my show. You can take a break and you go watch Donovan Sharp's show, and we'll be living in your mind. I watched the videos but haven't figured out how to exchange it to BTC. Hit up Charlie, Mr. Jackson. He'll help you out.
Hit me up on my email and I'll help you out with that for sure.
All right, guys. You guys have a great day. Keep an eye on this market. Just look at it. Even if you didn't buy in, Molotov said take $20, buy it today. I think it's a good investment.
Yeah, $20 is people are gonna waste that on beer.
Beer, drugs, a burrito with guac. Come on.
So, I mean, you're not gonna lose anything, but it's a great learning experience.
Yeah. So you guys have a great day. Just keep an eye on the markets, and then we'll check you next week. We'll be talking about the halving if the Bitcoin price is stable. If the price keeps going up, we'll talk about the price, but most likely next week we'll go into more depth about the Bitcoin halving and how the supply and demand is permanently going to be changed. So you're not going to want to miss that one. Take care, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.